Okay, this is going to be shape number 8. So we're going to look at what that is. It's kind of a unique one. Still going to use some of those fillets and just a raised piece here that we're going to put in with our circles on here and a hole in the middle. So shouldn't be too challenging. We'll see what we've got. I'm going to build this from the bottom. So I'm going to get rid of my front and my right. I'm going to hide both of those. On my top, I'm going to add a sketch. Oh, first I'm going to make sure I've got my workspace unit set into inches. Always do that. And now I'm going to add a sketch onto the top plane and to normalize it to make it so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to add my first rectangle in, and I'm just going to get it in there, start to dimension this out. And this rectangle is going to be a 4" by 3". So 4 inches wide. Oh, sorry, 4 inches wide, 3 inches in length and width. And then I'm going to finish the sketch. I'm going to extrude it up, rotate my view so I can see what I'm doing, and it's going to extrude up 1 inch, and I'm going to hit OK. And there it is. So now I'm going to hide my top plane as well, because now everything else is going to build just from this. So now what I'm going to do is I want to go around to the back, because the back is where I'm going to put my next piece. So I'm going to put the top part on there. So I'm going to add another sketch onto the back. And I'm going to add my rectangle in on the back, starting at the top here. And I know that this is going to go up for some and go across. When I looked at my measurements on that, it's going to go up 4.5 inches, and it's going to be 2.5 inches wide. So I'm going to dimension this out. So I'm going to dimension this out. It is 4.5 tall, and my width here is going to be 2.5. Okay, so then when I'm looking at this, so if I go back to this, so that's what I'm looking at here. What's the total dimension of this? Actually, see, I might have messed this up. So I got a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inch, 2, 2.5 inch, 3, 3.5 inches is where I start kind of the center of my skull. So I want to make this 3.5 inches because I have to add that circle piece on top. So I'm going to fix this real fast. So I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to change this to 3.5 inches tall. 3.5 inches tall. 3.5 inches tall. Okay, so that's going to be my first piece there. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add on my circle. So I got my circle. I'm going to put my circle in the top here. Going to find right that midpoint, and I'm going to edge it out to the end. So now I've got my full shape there. So I've got everything that I need. So I went from edge to edge. So that's going to give me that round part. I am going to dimension this. So I know that from my side, we're going to look here on the side. This side I'm about a 1/2 inch, 1 inch to where the edge is. So I'm going to go put this to 1 inch on the edge. Oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to dimension from the edge of my model to the edge of this dot. Should be 1 inch. There it is. So I've got my 1 inch dimension. Now I'm going to finish my sketch. And if I go back and I look at what that basic part was, if I open that up, so here's my basic part, it is going to be a 1/2 inch, 1 inch extrusion. So I'm going to extrude it 1 inch. So now I'm going to rotate just a little bit. I'm going to hit my extrusion. I want to select all of the pieces, and I'm going the wrong direction. So I'm going to turn here. It's going to go 1 inch. I want to make sure that I'm doing it as adding, because I'm going to add to it, and I'm going to hit yes. There it is. So I've added to it. Okay, so now I'm on the front, and I need to add in another circle. So what I'm going to do is add a sketch, put a sketch on the front. I'm going to add my circle in. And what I'm going to do is, as I zoom in here, I can find where that center point is. And if I go down, it's going to track on this line. So I can go down and see where that center point is. And as I go down it, what I'm going to do is find that center point where my circle was. Okay, so this is super important how you get this. I'm going to show you this again. I start my circle by dragging it around till I find on the outer edge where the center top is, because what you're trying to do is find that hidden point in the middle to start your circle. So I'm going to find that center point, and I'm going to go straight down. Now, if I come across, if I get off of it, as I get here, I can see where it is. And I'm looking for that next center point. That's where I want to put my circle. And I'm going to drag it all the way out to the edge. Just make sure that I get it. And I'm going to come right here, touch the edge. There it is. And now what I can do is finish that sketch. And I'm going to extrude that piece out just a little bit. So now there's what our circle is that we're going to bring out. And that piece looks like it comes out 1 inch. So I'm going to hit extrude, bring that piece out. It's going to come out 1 inch. That's perfect. I'm going to get it there. There's my new shape. So I've got my shape is added on there. Now I need to put in a hole. Looks like this hole is going to be a 1 inch hole. So what I'm going to do is add a sketch, put it on the front. I'm going to put my hole. And again, it goes right in the middle. So if I want to find that middle point, I can. So I'm going to go right on the middle point. There's my middle point. And I'm going to make this a 1 inch hole. So I'm going to dimension it out. Dimension this out. 1 inch hole. And that hole is going to get pushed all the way through. So I'm going to finish that. So again, it's using that same center point. I'm going to extrude everything out, change the direction, and I'm going to rotate this around so I can see it. Pull that all the way through, make sure I do remove, and there's that center hole for me. Okay, and the next piece that we need to do is I'm going to put that hole on the bottom here. So if I go back in here and I look at this hole in the bottom looks like it's going to be a 1 inch hole, and it's going to be, if I'm looking at it, it's a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 2 inches to center, and 1/2 inch, 1 inch to front. Okay, so I'm going to go back in. I'm going to add a sketch, put it on here, add a hole. I'm just going to put my hole in here. I'm going to dimension everything out now. So I'm going to dimension the hole first. Hole is going to be a 1 inch hole. Then I'm going to dimension, I'm going to zoom in so I can see. I'm going to dimension center dot of the hole to the edge, should be 2 inches. Center dot to the edge should be 1 inch. That hole is going to get pushed all the way through. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my extrusion. I'm going to extrude that hole through. And I'm going to hit my extrusion. There it is. Change that to remove. Pull that all the way through. Check mark it. We're done. Last thing that we need to do is I need to get some fillets on here, which are going to round those corners for me. So what I want to do is if I look at this, all of my corners are rounded, and we're going to go with that. That's a 1/2 inch rounding. So we're going to do those 2 corners and the front. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to go up here, find my fillet tool. And what I can do here is I'm going to click the edges that I want to fillet. I'm going to edge this one. I'm going to edge this one. I'm going to rotate this around, and I'm going to edge this one. And we're going to make them all that 0.5 and hit the checkbox. And there it is. There is shape number 8. Done and in the books.